A worrying scenario has raised alarm in the Brazilian armed forces. According to a survey by Sociedade Militar magazine, 21 Air Force pilots have requested discharge just in the first 3 months of 2026, which projects the departure of about 100 aviators by the end of the year. The data exposes a silent crisis that threatens the operational capacity of military aviation and puts the need to value the career on the agenda. The discussion about the topic revolves around two critical points: the devaluation of the military profession and the high cost of training aviators. In a Brazil marked by disputes and tensions between politicians and the military, the career has ceased to be attractive. The result is a growing exodus of military personnel who seek stability and better conditions outside the armed forces. But could this mass departure have any impact on the lives of the Brazilian population? Welcome to Vida no Quartel.
The people I talk to express and bring up some of these concerns about the attrition in military careers, which has reduced the possibility of having better professionals, including in the barracks. When we look at the data, I obtained first-hand data that is alarming. Here for CNN, you can see how clearly this is shown.
There's a survey you did that shows an increase in attrition among military personnel in the Navy and the Air Force, right? So people looking from the outside think, no, but it's full of privileges, but many people who see it from the inside don't see it that way.
Vida no Quartel. After years of study and dedication, many pilots report that they don't even fly 50 hours a year, a number considered insufficient to maintain proficiency. NATO pilots from the North Atlantic Treaty Organization have an average of 180 flight hours per year. This lack of opportunities to fly in Brazil makes the training almost useless in practice and undermines the motivation of those who should be on the front line of air defense. On top of that, the salary issue makes the situation for pilots even worse. Military pay is among the lowest in the public sector, and a newly graduated military pilot, after 4 years, earns less than an entry-level court technician with a high school education. This disparity leads military personnel from the Navy, Army, and Air Force to move to other careers, whether in the public or private sector, further deepening the retention crisis of professionals in the armed forces. Pilot training in Brazil begins with admission to the Air Force Academy in Pirassununga, São Paulo. Young people up to 23 years old go through a rigorous selection process, and if approved, face 4 years of intense academic and military training. During this period, only a few managed to reach the rank of aviator, later being assigned to different types of aircraft. From cargo planes like the giant Hercules, executive jets, and fighter aircraft, to search, rescue, and combat helicopters. This diversity of roles requires total dedication and years of study, as well as giving up personal life. Naturally, after such extensive preparation, it is expected that these professionals have good working conditions, appropriate compensation, and enough flight hours to maintain proficiency. However, the current situation of the Brazilian armed forces is marked by a lack of resources and little recognition for the profession. Many pilots report frustration at not being able to accumulate adequate flight hours, while military pay remains among the lowest in the public sector. For the enlisted ranks, soldiers, corporals, sergeants, and warrant officers, the situation is even more difficult. This makes a military career less and less attractive, fueling the exodus of professionals to other fields. Even though in some cases, after requesting discharge, pilots have to reimburse the government, because of the cost of their training, many still see it as an advantage to leave the ranks of the armed forces. Commercial aviation, for example, offers salaries that can be up to twice what a military pilot earns, in addition to comprehensive health plans, financial bonuses, and a work schedule that ensures a better quality of life. This contrast has made commercial aviation much more attractive, especially for those who have already invested years of study and dedication in pilot training. On the other hand, military life is marked by challenges that everyone is aware of when they join. But the perception is that each year, the situation gets even worse. The rigidity increases, the demands become more intense, and the absurd orders from some senior officers cause discouragement among the troops. With exhausting schedules, many pilots remain on standby for hours to meet the demands of political authorities and the judiciary. The recurring use of Air Force jets as if they were luxury air taxis intensifies the perception of devaluation of the military career, increasing dissatisfaction and driving the desire to migrate to other institutions. Recently, 11 engineers from the Army Military Engineering Institute requested discharge together, showing that the difficulty in retaining professionals is not limited to aviation, but extends across the entire military. The episode reinforces the perception that a military career has lost its appeal. In a scenario where politicians enjoy unlimited perks, lawmakers freely direct budget amendments, and members of the judiciary can receive more than 1 million Rs per year. By contrast, the military conclude that the effort and dedication required to sustain military life are no longer worth the sacrifice, further increasing the exodus and deepening the institutional crisis. When a country does not value its own armed forces, it is a sign that its structure and its love for the homeland are at risk. Leave your opinion here in the comments and tell us what you would do if you were a military pilot in Brazil, given the current situation. Here on Vida No Quartel, you stay updated on everything in the military world. Leave a like, subscribe, and watch one of the videos that is appearing on your screen. Forward fighters, see you next time.